Hey everyone, how is it going? Welcome back to another edition of Fan Talk, your favorite podcast by your favorite fan. Of course, that is me, Kyle Brenchley, otherwise known as K Brench, in the house on this Thursday, on this leap day, a special day that literally only happens every 4 years. We can thank Julius Caesar or somebody like that for this special day. It is February 29th, and that is a perfect time to tune in to Fan Talk. This is a podcast by me, Kyle Brenchley, here that you can find on Spotify, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. We talk sports and the ideas surrounding it, my thoughts surrounding it, and it's a good time. It's a bloody good time. We got our candle here. Shout out to that. Shout out to Rogue One. Great Star Wars movie. I'm excited for another sci-fi flick in Dune coming up here soon. Let me know if you've seen it. Let's see, it comes out tomorrow night. So I'm excited to go check that out. Let's start this week's episode off with our song challenge. Again, if you do not know, you're not too late to the party. Guess the song. I'll play it for 15 seconds. Guess it, comment down below, or DM me on any of my social medias I've linked in the description. I'm keeping tally, and winner gets a $25 gift card to the restaurant of their choice. Again, you're not too far behind. The leader right now is currently at 1. It's a 4-way tie for 1. So all you need to do is guess this song, and you are tied for first place. So without further ado, let's see if we can get this song up and rolling. Tune in your ears. 15 seconds starts now. Okay, that is it. That is the 15 seconds that you get. Again, let me know what you guys think. You're still in the running. Don't even worry about it. Okay, in this episode, we are going to be focusing heavily on college basketball. Of course, men's college basketball, but a little bit of sprinkle of women's college basketball as well. Both seasons are coming to a close because tomorrow is literally March. And when the calendar turns to March, you know things are getting real. March Madness is on the way. We are super excited. Most teams only have about 4 games left in the regular season before they do their conference tournaments in the second week of March. So here we go. Let's jump right into it. Let's start out with a look at bracketology. This was updated on the 27th, so a couple days old here, but still we're working with it. Of course, top overall seed, we got Purdue, first team out. We got Texas A&M, and last team in, Gonzaga. Gonzaga's kind of had an off year. They've lost a lot of their stars over the past couple seasons, but they're slithering their way back into the field right now. As you can see here, the bubble watch. Texas has now fallen to the last 4 byes. That will probably change. They just had a big win against Texas Tech in Lubbock, where a fight broke out and fans were not very happy. If I lived in Lubbock, I wouldn't be very happy either. Wake Forest there on the bubble as well with Nevada, New Mexico, and then the rest of the field here chilling on the outside. Notable team Utah, for all the Utah fans watching, kind of a very, very important stretch here the last couple games. They pretty much need to win out and do well in the tournament to even have a shot. They're kind of in no man's land right now, as you can see. So last episode, I talked about teams that could go all the way, teams that could make a legit run. And a week later, I stand by it. I think Purdue is great. I think that UConn is great as well. And Houston is doing really well. And sorry, my screen just switched on me. And Arizona coming off a big win as well. All those number 1 seeds are teams that you should be looking out for. Tennessee, as I mentioned before. Kansas. Now, again, this is not updated. Kansas just dropped a game to BYU at home. Allen Fieldhouse, for the first time in 19 games that they lost at home. They lost to the BYU Cougars coming in. Big 12's a bloodbath. Any given night, you can lose. You got to win every single game. It doesn't matter who your opponent is. Doesn't matter if you're on home or away. You got to do the best that you can, especially if you're at home, to defend home court. I was watching that game and I noticed a couple things. BYU is a team that is very dangerous if they're shooting the three ball well. Honestly, they live by the three and they die by the three. There was a stretch where they literally took 7 threes in a row. At like 7 offensive possessions, they were all 3-pointers. And if, of course, you make them, then you're balling out, you're chilling. But if you miss them, the other team scores, you get down really early. So I think because BYU's had some bad losses, they lost to Kansas State, they lost to Cincinnati early in the year. If some of those bad losses, I think they just had bad 3-point shooting nights. And that's going to happen. So you hope come tournament time they're able to keep up the hot streak and do that. On the Kansas side of the ball, they had a lot of fouls that went their way. The whistles were going their way, but they couldn't make the free throws. Hunter Dickinson alone missed 9 free throws. 9 points that on the board would have helped them a lot. Come tournament time, you cannot miss free throws. You're not going to be playing at home. You're going to be playing on the road. You got to be flawless. Little area of concern there for Kansas going into the last couple weeks of the season. North Carolina survived a couple stairs. Marquette has beaten some bad teams. A big game for them coming up on Saturday. I'll tell you about that in just a second. The rest of the field is pretty much the same. Again, some of these teams have played since the 27th, and things have shaken up a little bit. Like Nevada got a huge win on the road against Colorado State. Crazy shot by Gerard Lucas, hitting a game-winning buzzer beater from half court. Totally crazy. That same night, Utah State's Darius Brown, the second hit, banked in a 3 at the end of regulation to send the game to overtime against Fresno State. Utah State ultimately went to win that game in overtime, which was huge because, like I said earlier, dropping games, even if they're on the road to lesser opponents, is going to hurt you a lot come playoff time. Here's a look here at the net rankings. And again, the net rankings take into effect the quality of wins based on your opponent. Quad 1, obviously, your opponent's the best. Quad 2, essential. I've explained it in past videos. If you have any more questions, go check those out. But essentially, this is what the net rankings is. And the bracketologists look at this when determining seeding and which teams should get in. As you can see, BYU is ranked here as a 10 in net rankings, even though they're not ranked 10 overall in the AP poll. This is probably because they have a really good home record. They've beaten some good Quad 1 teams and Quad 2 as well. Neutral sites, they're 3-0. So, I mean, their quality of wins are good. Obviously, they just took out Kansas at home, or in Kansas's home, which is something that no team has done in 19 games. Houston sits number 1, I think rightfully so. I think that they are the team. They're currently my pick right now. As it stands, if the tournament started today, I'd be picking Houston to go on a big run. Purdue is up there as well with UConn, Arizona, Tennessee rounding out the top 5, of course. Let's take a look at some other notable teams, where they stand, where they sit. San Diego State's the first team out of the Mountain West. They're sitting at 18. Whereas Utah State is even below Boise State. Boise State's sitting there. San Diego State's currently the 4th seed in the Mountain West, whereas Utah State's the 1 seed. Utah State's sitting here at a 35. Probably because the people who analyze this are looking at quality wins and thinking that Utah State has less quality wins, even though they have a better record, better home record, and even a better Quad 1 record, just less opportunities than San Diego State. But there's that. You can always check this out. It's not the be-all, say-all by any means, but it for sure is something that people look at and, it's something people consider. Okay, so now let's go to our window. Now moving on, we got a little inception going on in here. Let's talk about women's college basketball. Let's talk about Caitlin Clark. Ooh, whoops, wrong thing. Let's talk about Caitlin Clark and what she did last night. So Caitlin Clark, as you should know, is a basketball player for the Iowa Hawkeyes. She is literally the definition of a baller. She knocks down 3-pointers from Steph Curry range. She scores like 30 points a game. She gets her teammates involved. She can do it all. She broke Lynette Woodard's forgotten scoring record, 18 points from passing Pete Maravich. Here's that 3-pointer right there, bang! That got her past the NCAA women's scoring record. It's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible what she's doing. If you have not watched Caitlin Clark, if you have not heard of her or done anything about her, then you're missing out, because she is truly putting on a spectacle. She is doing something that many people have not done. Pretty much more impressive than anything any dude has done in college basketball this season. So hands down, greatest college performance this season goes to Caitlin Clark. Yeah, go watch one of her games. She's really good, and the Hawkeyes are really good because of her. I think they're currently ranked, what did it say, number 4 or something like that. Okay, so now let's do this. Let's go take a look at some of the games this week, this Saturday in particular. A lot of big games that, as we're coming down to the wire, are going to determine a lot of things. So as you can see here, South Carolina is a team that has definitely been very impressive this year, 23-5. They're currently ranked 18. They have a big home game against Florida, 10 a.m. That game's going to be huge because, I mean, they're at home. It's going to be a quad one opportunity because Florida is ranked. Florida is very good in the SEC as well. So this will be huge to boost their tournament resume. I think that they're in. I think they're a lock at this point. It's just a matter of seeding. Same with these teams here, Kansas and Baylor. This will be a huge game as well. Kansas obviously coming off that loss. Baylor is looking good right now. Quad one opportunity. Both teams I think are a lock as well for sure, but something to keep an eye on. And in this game, Illinois, Wisconsin. Wisconsin has dropped off immensely. They were at one point a 4 seed, and they've dropped 7 of the last 8 games. They're currently 18-10. Big home game against Illinois. They pretty much need to win this to have any right being in the tournament. They probably still will make the tournament, but they're just not a team that should be, considered a threat by any means. Big opportunity for them. Same with Kentucky. Take care of business. They're a hot team right now. Watch out for Reed Shepherd, the freshman. Guy kind of looks like my cousin. Balls out. That should be a big game there against Arkansas. Arizona as well, trying to keep things under control. Oregon, a win there could really boost their tournament resume. And then look at this, Marquette and Creighton. This is going to be a huge game out of the Big East. They're 12:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Fox. Again, Creighton is one of those teams I said can make it all the way. Marquette, I'm a little more skeptical on. This should be a good game. Tyler Kolek versus Ryan Kalkbrenner. Let's go big time. And then there's some other games here. Mississippi State trying to make a name for themselves so they can get a big win at Auburn that can boost their tournament resume. South Florida's a hot team right now. They've cracked the top 25. They need a win against Charlotte to keep their momentum rolling. Virginia and Duke, that's a big game as well. Virginia trying to get in. And then Oklahoma, Houston. Oklahoma's kind of dropped off the last couple weeks. A huge win against Houston this week would really bolster their tournament chances. Houston, though, I think is the hottest team in the league right now. Until they get stopped, I will stay with that. Michigan State, they've lost the last couple games. They really need a big win. If they can pull it off against Purdue in West Lafayette, that would be a huge resume booster. Tennessee and Alabama, another big game there. And then Gonzaga and St. Mary's, the clash that we love to see out of the West Coast Conference. As you mentioned, or as you saw earlier, Gonzaga is trying to get in, and a big win here against the Gales would do just that. So, a lot of college basketball going on this weekend. Tune in, check it out, and we'll see what happens, where teams lie, and as the tournaments approach, every game is crucial. Like I said, teams have about 4 games left. If possible, teams want to go 4-0 or at least 3-1 in these last couple games. Going 2-2, 1-3, or 0-4 can be detrimental and will sink their postseason March Madness chances. Well, I'm Kyle Brenchley, and this is Fan Talk. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You can find me on YouTube, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Give me a like, listen, and follow. I appreciate it. Comment that song down below, and you guys have a wonderful, wonderful leap day. Next time I see you, it will be March. Take care. Peace out. Good night.